Meeting to. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Christopher Dustin. I'm chair of the Thompson Inland Wetlands Commission, and I'm calling the January 13th, 2025 meeting of the commission to order at 6:31 p.m. We are meeting via Zoom and we'll be following our regular protocol, which means that this meeting is being recorded for audio and visual content under the control of a Zoom host. For sound quality, the general rule for the meeting is that everyone remain muted except when speaking. Commissioners and staff will generally remain muted except when speaking or voting and will generally have their video turned on throughout the meeting. Applicants, their representatives, and the public may leave their video on or off, but are asked to turn their video on when speaking. That said, no one for whom video is not an option will be precluded from speaking at the appropriate time. All participants will please state their name for the record each and every time they speak. Please raise your hand on video or by using the raise your hand feature located at the bottom of your screen to let me know that you'd like to speak and I'll recognize you. Please do not speak until you're recognized. If your hand is raised and I fail to see it, which I sometimes do when I'm sharing my screen and I'm absorbed in things, you may signal to me verbally that you wish to speak. Members of the general public may only speak during those portions of the meeting set aside on the agenda for citizens' comments. Individual applicants, permittees, and violators whose names appear on the agenda and/or their representatives will be invited to speak when that agenda item is discussed. I have to remind everyone that if anyone in attendance speaks out of turn in a disruptive or inappropriate manner for an inordinate length of time, or in any way that interferes with the orderly conduct of this meeting, they may be prevented from doing so and, if necessary, ejected from the meeting at my discretion. We've never had to deal with that, and I hope we never have to. Those are the preliminaries. I'll now call the roll. Commissioner Corso.
Present.
Thank you. Are you our Zoom host tonight, or is Margaret?
I am.
Okay, thank you for that as well. Commissioner Langer, I believe, is absent. Commissioner Morano is absent. Commissioner Obert?
I'm here, present.
Okay, we have a quorum. Staff members present this evening include Margaret Washburn, our Wetlands Enforcement Officer, and Gloria Harvey, our Recording Secretary. The next item on the agenda is the seating of alternates. Robert Mooney is our alternate member. Commissioner Mooney, are you present?
Yes, I am present.
Wonderful, thank you. Seeing as all regular members of the commission are not present at this meeting, Commissioner Mooney is hereby seated. The next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the December 9th, 2025 regular meeting. And to facilitate that, as always, I will share my screen. If I can do this, I can do this, and I can do this, and I can do this. Oh, Commissioner Corso, you have to give me permission to share my screen.
Permission granted.
Permission granted. Thank you. Let's see how this works. Okay. There we go. All right. Single page. Wonderful. Okay, that's fine. Very good. Can everyone see these? Somebody say yes.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Do commission members or staff wish to offer any corrections to these minutes?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Commissioner Obert.
I don't know if it's a correction. I think it's just an observation. In part A, there's a last line says members of the public, and it lists 4 names, and then it says and others.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened carefully as you were doing your opening remarks, and we're not asking all of our members of the public to identify themselves. So I don't know if we could or should to allow us to keep track of concerned citizens that are showing up to the meetings, but we have not been.
Mm-hmm.
And it just caught my eye tonight.
Interesting point. I believe, Gloria, you could speak to this, that your very careful minutes do identify speakers to the best of my
Yeah,
knowledge.
speakers.
Yeah.
Yes, when I was trained to do this, I was told that I did not have to include everyone, just
Hmm.
to, highlight a few
Right.
and cover everyone else by saying add others.
Okay.
I believe it's correct. I just was a little surprised when I saw it, and I wondered if there's any value to try to track. I mean, most of us who are regular at these meetings know that Valerie Clark likes to participate and listen in. But
I suppose.
all the other people that I know of are specific to the meeting, and so when somebody like Ms. Clark is showing that interest, I think it speaks well for the town, and we should know that.
Mhm. I agree.
And
I
she
said,
and
I'm
she
sorry.
was included.
Right. Right.
Yeah, she
Um,
was. She was. She spoke somewhere towards the end of the meeting, I think.
I
But
imagine that any citizen, only of the town, but any member of the public is free to listen in on the meeting without necessarily identifying themselves. They could phone in, and if they don't wish to speak and then be recognized, then in other words, someone could listen in on the meeting anonymously.
they could. And I think it's correct. It's okay that they do. And if we had a town meeting and you wanted to speak, you had to sign in. But if you didn't want to speak, you didn't have to sign in. Or you
Right.
had to stand up and say your name and what road you lived on or your address
Right.
to identify that you were authorized to speak.
Okay.
So
Interesting question.
I think that, as I said a few minutes ago, I think that what we're doing is correct. I just wondered if there's some way to recognize or
Hmm.
reward or draft the next alternative commissioner.
Oh, good. Well, we'll take note of that, and I think
All right.
recognition for
I didn't see any problems with the minutes. I don't know if the rest of the
thank you.
commissioners have read them.
Any other comments or corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the December 9th, 2025 regular meeting as written.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Who is Commissioner Corso?
Commissioner Corso.
Thank you. Yeah. Do I have a second on that motion?
Yeah, Commissioner Mooney will second.
I saw you ready to do that. Thank you. Commissioner Mooney seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstentions. The minutes of the December 9th, 2025 regular meeting are accepted and approved as written. The next item on the agenda is citizens' comments on agenda items. This is an opportunity for members of I'm getting ahead of myself here, members of the general public, other than applicants, violators, or their representatives, to inform the commission of any questions, concerns, or observations related to specific agenda items. It is not intended as a discussion with or among commission members. Speaking time is generally limited to 3 minutes. Are there any comments on agenda items that members of the general public would like to share at this time?
We do have someone in the chat looking to speak. Ms. Clark, I've used the ask to unmute button for you, but it may still require some action on
Oh, I see.
your
Yes.
end. Um,
Yeah, Ms. Clark is still muted. I'm seeing that.
yeah, she said earlier that her phone was unable. She's looks like she's going to type her comment out. So if anybody else perhaps
Okay.
would like to speak, I'll make sure to read it once she finishes typing.
Okay. I'm going to go to the chat if I can. For some reason, maybe it's because I'm sharing my screen. I'm not seeing the chat. It's not appearing here. Um, can somebody read out what
I will as soon as it
as it materializes?
exactly.
Okay.
The comment is
There.
that the town calendar posted a different time for the meeting than what is scheduled.
Ah,
Perhaps we still have the 7 o'clock time.
I imagine we do. Is that the case, Ms. Clark? Was that not changed?
It's on the town hall website when I downloaded the files today.
For 6:30 or 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
Ah, okay.
Somewhere right on there. I was downloading the last Zoom files this evening and I saw that time differential.
Thank you for calling that to our attention. We will correct that.
Yeah, I had forgotten about it. Thank you,
That's
Valerie.
important. That's probably why attendance was a little sparse, but I'm glad we're all here. Okay, thank you very much, as always, Ms. Clark. Are there any other comments that members of the general public would like to share at this time?
She followed up with there'd be a concern. This is creating special meetings all year.
I don't, well, thank you for that concern. And while, again, the purpose of citizens' comments is not to initiate a discussion, the 6:30 start time was approved formally and adopted by the committee and it was announced at our last regular meeting that, or we were reminded that going into the new year, we would be meeting at this time. So I don't think these constitute special meetings.
I believe that also the Secretary of State's office got the revised time because that's when we voted and said, let's do it
Right,
earlier.
right,
So
right. I
I
think
think
that,
that it's a valid point, but I think that it was an accident of new members, new people down at town hall, new people handling the computer files, and boom, something
that's
can be
right.
corrected before next month.
Well, we will certainly follow up on that. Thank you. Um, okay, good. All right, let's move on. The commission will now consider applications previously received. As we consider these, I need to remind commissioners of the need to state for the record their reasons for any votes they cast. This is required for any matter upon which the commission may take a vote. To facilitate this, we shall continue to use roll call votes as we did at our last meeting. Speaking of votes, a question was raised at our last meeting by Ms. Clark about our protocol for recusals. Specifically, Ms. Clark raised the question as to whether a commissioner who recuses themselves must not only abstain from voting in discussion, but physically, or in our case, virtually leave the room or the meeting while the discussion is taking place. As the minutes reflect, I promised to look into proper protocols governing recusals. And so I put the question to Mr. Russell Blair, Director of Education and Communications with the Connecticut Freedom of Information Commission. His response in relevant part reads as follows, and I'm quoting Mr. Blair. When our commissioners recuse themselves on a case, it means they do not participate in the discussion on the issue and they do not vote. However, typically they would not leave the room, nor do I think that is something that can be required of them. The only instance I could think of where that might be advisable is if there is some concern that the mere presence of the person is going to influence how the other members act. If, for example, the presence of that person would be intimidating or threatening, but that seems unlikely. Those are Mr. Blair's words. Since Mr. Blair speaks from a position of authority, I believe that we are justified in following his opinion and following our own established practice. We have not, to my knowledge, imposed such a requirement in the past. It is not stipulated in the bylaws, and I see no reason to do so short of the unlikely circumstance that Mr. Blair envisions. We will turn now to old applications. The first of which is DEC 25066, Gregory
Mr.
Mountfort.
Commissioner,
Yes, Mr.
before
McMahon.
we start, based on just a follow-up to your comments there, before we even get into the agenda, I will announce and let you folks know that I will recuse myself from any issues and discussions surrounding anything regarding Mr. Rawson, as we discussed in the last one, as well as Quinnipiac Country Club, as I am a member there. So I wanted
Thank
to make that known up front, and I will sit and abstain during the appropriate periods.
Thank you for your conscientiousness. We
Thank you.
appreciate that. The old applications, one and only, DEC 25066, Gregory Mountfort, 120 Aquatic Town Farm Road, map 154, block 7, lot 17, two-lot subdivision, no wetlands on site. This is, and I need this. So this is the site plan. Do we have a representative present? Do we have someone representing this application? Is Mr. Mountfort with us? I see something in the chat. Thank you, Margaret. Margaret, I know you're under the weather and barely able to speak, but do you think someone is here for this?
No.
No. One word, that's good. Thank you. But we can still act on it, can we not?
Yes, and I think there's an inspection report if you keep flipping through.
Right. This is I went to the site plan and
There are also the Conservation Commission had some comments to the
right,
effect that they want you to be aware that of endangered species on abutting property and to act accordingly. But
right.
the endangered species are not on this property.
Right. Nor are there any wetlands on this property, nor is this project within any upland review area that I can tell. Um, I would, that's getting ahead of this game. Speaking for myself, I see no reason why the commission should not approve this application, but I want to open the floor to any questions or comments by commissioners.
This is Charlie Obert. I have observation about. I just looked at the drawings and I thought, wow, we can squeeze that many houses in there. I understood that when the zoning reduced the lot size, somehow I was only thinking about zoning where it was on municipal sewer. I thought that that had been delineated, outlined in the zoning ordinances. Will admit that I read them in their draft form, and that was years ago. So I don't know what the final requirements were. And the earlier requests that we saw in the initial, right after the zoning regs were changed, they were all down in the North Grosvenor-Dale area. So I didn't think too much about it. There's four properties, four houses going in on an area right beside the 5 Mile River at the lower pond. The observation about endangered species, I can't think of what they are. There was something like it looked almost like a sponge. It was in the water, um, and in the 5 Mile River. This project won't directly impact it, but it will potentially bring four families who are used to running the water for half an hour long showers out.
Commissioner Ober, just to be clear, this is a two-lot subdivision. There's another one further down the list that is a four-lot subdivision. That's
I beg your
in
pardon.
closer proximity to the
Well,
five.
it's still crowding it up, but
That's true.
and it's an important area. That's
It's a trend we're seeing.
yes.
It is.
When did I saw?
Other commissioners have any comments or questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve DEC 25066.
Commissioner Corso, motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Corso. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Thank
Charlie
you,
Obert.
Commissioner Obert. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor? I'm sorry, we're going to do a roll call vote, aren't we? I promised myself, I promised you we would do that. So, Commissioner, and please state your reasons for voting as you do. Commissioner Corso.
In the affirmative, aye. As there are no wetlands on the site, I don't see any reason why we should not approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Obert.
Um, I also I'm not really enthusiastic about it because, like I said, it's just I'm looking around the town and seeing it divided up. Um, and that's an important watershed. But I think that that it is outside of our jurisdiction, and they're following the guidelines and they're doing it properly. So, yeah, when you're not used to living off of a well and in septic systems, you suddenly wake up to a lot of surprises. But
Good point.
that's
Good
not
point.
my house.
Commissioner Mooney.
Yes, it's simple. I echo the exact comments of Commissioner Corso and that there are no wetlands on site, so I see no reason not to approve this overall.
Thank you. And Commissioner Me, Chairman Dustin, I'll also vote in favor, although for the record, I share Commissioner Orbert's concerns about about projects like this that seem to run contrary to Thompson's commitment to open space, and because they are running off well water, that it will put a drain literally on the water table, and it can have effects. But because it is not, there are no wetlands on site. I see no grounds for this commission's withholding its approval. Therefore, I will vote in favor. There's no one left to oppose, no abstentions. Therefore, DEC 25066 is approved. Thank you. We'll now consider new applications, starting with DEC 25068. Philip LeBlanc, 295 Linehouse Road, map 55, block 69A, lot 3A. Deepen a small pond for raising shiners connected to a larger man-made pond with a pipe screened at both ends. All disturbed areas will be seeded with wild flowers. Is there, Mr. LeBlanc, are you present with us
Yes, I
tonight?
am.
Wonderful. Would you like to speak a little bit about what you are proposing to do here?
Oh, absolutely. Let me preface this that I lived here for over 40 years. And, as I've become familiar with my property, I have tried to respect the wetlands and wildlife that may occur here in a very beneficial way, as I am a biologist. Um, I'm trying to raise some shiners in a small pond that's next to my very large spring-fed pond. I can't raise them in that pond because there are bass and pickerel in there and they will eat them all. But this smaller pond, I want to connect with a pipe at depth that will have water intruding from my largest spring-fed pond into my small shiner pond. Because over the course of the summer, due to this climate change and things we're going through, the last 2 summers it hasn't rained from, I don't know, July till October, and the water gets superheated. It kills all my shiners. It kills the invertebrate uh, larvae. It's just not a good situation. Whereas if I do this, I'll be able to have a pipe at depth that will give a constant feeding of water that averages 55 degrees all year long and never dries up because it's spring fed. The ideal situation for raising shiners. I fish a lot and they're $8 a dozen. And being retired and on a fixed income, that's a lot of money. And I want to say thank you to Christopher and Margaret who have come and inspected the site. It's nice to meet somebody who is conscientious of our environment in this day and age, and particularly Margaret, who helped me examine the site, design the project as what I wanted to do. And it was so nice to meet somebody who had the same type of interest that I have in the flora and fauna of northeastern Connecticut. It's a rare entity these days.
I will point out that Mr. LeBlanc has an advanced degree in fisheries biology, if I've got that right.
That's correct.
Considerable experience, so he's
Yes.
probably a lot better at raising shiners than I would be. For the commissioner's benefit, these photographs were taken during the inspection,
Yeah,
and it's a little hard to capture. And Mr. LeBlanc, feel free to jump in. In the upper left corner is the small pond.
right. That's the one that gets superheated because it doesn't have a source of cold oxygenated water like by the end of August, and it just becomes. One day I came home and there had to be 30 turkey vultures eating all my shiners and frogs and nymphs because there was no water. It was just like a sludge.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And on the right at the top is
Yes.
the larger
Yes.
man-made pond.
When
These
I
two,
initially moved here, I noticed in the back of the property there was an area that was kind of swampy and as such, but it had car tires, car parts, all kinds of junk thrown in there. Unfortunately, the generation before us was not as judicious about the environment as we have become today. And what the habit was, well, when you're going to throw it out, you throw it in the back of the yard and forget it. So at that point, with I wrote an environmental impact study to the commission and went before them and told them what I wanted to do. And I had the pond excavated to 20 feet. So now I have an area where I get all kinds of mammals. I get migratory birds. I get turtles, uh, snakes, you name it. It's an absolute wildlife panorama. I saw a bald eagle the other day.
Mhm. That
It's
that's wonderful.
beautiful.
Thank you. So yes, that's the earlier remediation work that
Right,
was approved by this commission
right.
that you did. So is it and then I want to turn this over to other commissioners. Both of these ponds, how did the small pond come into being? My sense is they're both man-made ponds in some sense. Is that
Right. The smaller one was just an area where uh, runoff of water uh, would accumulate at in the back of my yard. And that, in fact, was a ditch that was 6 feet deep and 15 feet long, where wine bottles from 25 or 30 years had been discarded. And I cleaned it up. I took three 10-wheel dump trucks loads out of there to the recycle center. And that's where the divot came from. It
Mhm.
was over 8 feet deep in wine bottles. They're still popping up out of the soil today. As I
Wow.
said, our, our forefathers were not environmentally conscious, not because of they didn't care, but they just didn't know.
Mhm.
And our
Indeed.
air and soil and water has suffered for it. I was an environmental chemist for over 15 years, and I've worked on super fun projects and all kinds of air, water, and soil conservation issues. And it breaks my heart to see what we've done to Mother Earth as we have not been good stewards.
Thank you. Do other commissioners have questions or comments about that? I'll just point out this is a declaratory ruling. So this is a question of use permitted as of right. And it would fall under the heading, I think, of Margaret can correct me if I'm wrong, of farming, because aquaculture constitutes
Yes,
farming, and these are essentially farm ponds.
Yeah.
correct.
But other commissioners,
Yeah, I have a
Commissioner
question
Ogle.
about this site and an observation. What
Hi.
is the difference in elevation between the smaller pond and the spring-fed pond?
Well, the trench that I want to dig is going to be 7 feet deep, and they're approximately at the same elevation. But the water does not intrude into the smaller pond at this point because there's a short barrier of soil there. My
Yeah.
lawn.
Yeah. And you don't
This
want
was
to
a
feed the
question.
bass.
Excuse me?
Smorgasbord for the bass.
Yes, unfortunately, I had a neighbor who I used to be able, I would trap a whole minnow trap full of shiners anytime I wanted them. And a neighbor of mine who had no right to do so, and it's against the law to transfer a sport fish from one body of water in Connecticut
Oh,
to another, put them in there with pickerel, and that was it. Within a year, I had no shiners.
pickerel and pike. The observation is, are you aware of the project that they're doing over at the East Thompson Rod and Gun Club?
I am not.
You might be useful. It might find you a hobby or something, but they're putting in some sort of a breeding pond for fish, and they're factoring in things like water temperature and zooplankton and such. We looked at that, what, a year ago? Probably about a year ago, we
It
looked at that.
depends on the species of fish that they're trying to
I don't know,
propagate.
but you might be interested in reaching
Yeah,
out to them.
I'm always interested in anything that is going to improve our environment
They
because
seem to be they seem to be looking at it from a good perspective.
well, hopefully so, yes. Most sportsmen are judicious.
Yeah, can't fish or hunt tomorrow if you don't take care of it today.
Yes, correct.
Do other commissioners have any questions or comments? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve DEC 25068.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and I have a deep respect for what you do for us. Keep up the good work.
We haven't
Let's
done it
go.
yet.
Let's go fishing.
That's cool.
I need a motion in a
I
second.
make a motion that we accept DEC 25068.
Thank you, Commissioner Mooney. Do I have a second on that?
Commissioner Corso seconds.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Commissioner Corso. And I'll start the roll call with you, Commissioner Corso. How will you vote and why?
Again, vote in favor as a declaratory ruling supporting agriculture. This seems to be all something we should be fine with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Obert.
As was just stated, do I have this open? Yes. It's a use permitted as of the right of the property owner. It's essentially maintenance of existing structure or existing operation. And it doesn't, yes, it's in the wetlands, but it's being done to, solve a problem.
Thank you. Commissioner Mooney.
Yeah, I'm in favor of this. It's obvious that our guest, Mr. LeBlanc, is an expert at this, and I'm impressed with his passion for it. I like what he's doing, and I'm in support of it wholeheartedly.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
And Commissioner or Chairman Dustin, I will say that ordinarily the idea of raising bait fish in a place where they could possibly infiltrate the natural waterways would concern me. But in this case, I fully believe that Mr. LeBlanc is a wise steward of his land and has some expertise in this area and is taking all the proper precautions to ensure that there is no adverse effect, and it's otherwise making good use of what was a very terrible situation, from what I understand, with all of that
Yes.
pollution which you extracted, and you're doing something productive and fruitful with the property. So I'm going to vote in favor.
Thank
Uh,
you, sir. I admire you.
it's a unanimous vote in favor with no opposition and no abstentions. DEC 25068 is hereby approved. Thank you, Mr. LeBlanc, and
Thank you, sir.
thank you, commissioners. The next item on the agenda is WAA 25069, Douglas LaBelle, 0 Gowan Road, map 102, block 31, lot 19A, construction of a single-family house with attached garage, in-ground pool, driveway, septic system, and well with associated grading. This was an application for a wetland agent approval. Our wetland agent and I inspected the site. on the 8th of January, and the wetland agent approval was issued on January 12th. So unless there are further questions from commissioners, I'm going to move on to IWA 25070. I'm just going to catch up with my documents here. Okay. Good. This is Mr. Hein Quinn, 192 Sunset Hill Road, map 103, block 40, lot 3F. After the fact application for a shed in the upland review area, corrective action for wetlands violations, and septic system plan for a single family house constructed with no permits from the town or NDDH. That is, the house was constructed with no permits or approval. Is Mr. Hein is here tonight? I don't know if I believe you've engaged Daniel Blanchette as your professional engineer. I don't know if he is here.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. Would you like to speak to the commission?
Yes. I am in a big learning process, and this is not an excuse on my side, but I hope to present myself so that you understand how I arrive at this issue. I came to the country in 1995 from Vietnam when I am in my 30s. And that between going to work and raising a family and learning the new culture over here, I didn't got to learn about wetland until I got to meet with Mrs. Washburn about a few months ago. So when I first came to Thompson, I thought it's a beautiful town. And for me, I have two little kids that we usually go bicycle riding, and I usually take them to all the ride from Rhode Island to Newport and then I came to Thompson and I found the railway track right beside that land, and I just love it. So I bought the land, and I drove to the town at that time in 2023, about 3 years ago, that I want to set up a summer home. Right. So I got to meet with Mrs. Donna at the time, and she asked me to submit application to the town building inspectors, and which I did. I also get passed the permit for electrical. But this morning, Mrs. Washburn was asking me, "Did you get a building permit?" And I didn't know what to tell her because I applied for the building permit, but I don't think I got that. And I didn't know that I had to get that before I can do the building. And my building was very simple. It's just a shed that I converted into a living space, right? It's just for us to go there, bicycle riding, have a place to stay, have a place to wash. So at that time, I sent in the plan for the house where I want to build a house. I has not been referred to the wetland, so I never got to talk with Mrs. Washburn until a few months ago when I got in touch with the zoning commission, and that's how I got to know about wetland. And at this time, I had so in order to keep our bicycle, I bought a shed, and I put it on the land, and it's near to the wetland. It's right beside the wetland. We keep the bicycle for us to ride, so I don't have to carry it every time. I'm asking the commission to allow me to keep the shed if it's not too much trouble. And so I grew up in Vietnam on a farm. We do a lot of farming, and when I need some water for washing, so I just dig a trench. It came automatically to me. I didn't even think. Now that I think about it, I just need a hose of like 15 feet or 20 feet, and I'd be able to get the water from the stream instead of having to dig up the trench like I did. So, I'm sorry about it, and I can make it up to you. I can fill it back in again. But when we have the well built, then I don't need that water pump there anymore. I had the solar water pump there, a small one, so that we can wash our hand. Or my wife, uh, she loved to do flower gardening and plant some trees, so we can collect some water to do watering. That's the purpose of that water pump. So we can fix that. Um, the other violation that Mrs. Watburn filed was that I I put some earth and gravel near to the stream where I put a chair there. The area is about 10 square feet. It need to near the stream. The earth need to be a little bit firm, so put some gravel there so I can put a chair. It's a nice area for me to relax and looking out to the nature. I'm very much into sustained living. I love to do things that is green, thing that is sustainable, and I really want to make this up and create an environment that's inviting and sustainable. I really uh, if I did something wrong, I'm really sorry, and I will make up for it.
Thank you. Is it Mr. Hine or is it Hine?
Nguyen. My last name is Nguyen, and my
Wait.
first name is Hien. Yes.
Ian, okay, thank you. Thank you for your story and your sentiments are quite genuine and we appreciate that. And we're going to do everything we can to help you clear this up and move forward with your plans. An issue here, so we have an application. And Ms. Washburn will communicate all of this to Mr. Blanchette, to your engineer, so that it's clear what more we need from you to help us move forward. So commissioners will note that on the application, the brief description of the project is essentially an application for the septic system, clearing, grading, and construction of septic system within URI. And then some reference is made to some recent work has also been performed within the wetlands, including excavation of a trench and some fill material. So what more we need, I think, is what is detailed in the order, and this is the December 2nd order that Ms. Washburn issued, which details some of these wetlands violations, and you referred to them all. So it would seem that the site plan and the application sheet should be revised to indicate all of the issues which this application needs to address. So first of all, we do need an after the fact application for the shed that has already been constructed. I mean, that would need to be approved after the fact and constructed on the very edge of the wetlands. We also need a detailed, what we call a corrective action plan. That is a plan for how you're going to make right those violations that include the dumping of material in and excavation of material from the wetlands away from the wetlands, as well as some material that's been placed in the upland review area. Um, that plan should, as we will make clear to Mr. Blanchette, should illustrate what we call the erosion and sediment controls that would be used during that remediation process that is in the area of the shed to prevent further damage to the wetlands. And last but not least, the application would and does include the septic system that is yet to be constructed. So once we get that plan that fully incorporates the corrective actions that this site requires, we would schedule what we call a site walk so that the commission could visit the site, see what needs to be done for themselves and to make it right. So I think that's where we stand with this. And again, this is I'm sure that Ms. Washburn will make all of this clear to Mr. Blanchett. I've talked to, oh, Mr. Blanchett is sitting right before me there. Welcome, Daniel.
Yes, and I think, could I speak for a second, Mr. Chairman?
Please, that would give me great joy if you would speak.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you, everyone. Good evening. For the record,
I don't know how much of that you heard, but
I did.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, so as again, for the record, Daniel Blanchett, civil engineer, land surveyor. We all heard the applicant speak this evening. I think he has good intentions. I have to apologize. I misunderstood what Washburn was asking for. I'll absolutely be able to submit revised plans for the following meeting that should address all of Margaret's concerns. Again, my mistake. If the commission wants to schedule a site walk, I would be happy to attend that. But again, I think we're on the right track. The applicant has demonstrated he is willing to work with the commission to restore any previous damage and to obtain a permit for some further construction.
Excellent. Thank you. I think we'll wait for the plan before we schedule the site walk, but
Sure.
that would probably be helpful. Thank you very much. Do other commissioners have any questions or comments? Again, we cannot act on this application in any case, so this is just to help move things along for the applicant. Commissioner Ober.
Yes, this is another example of us finding ourselves trying to correct. Oh, it's just a little bit. Why don't I allow myself the authority to do this? But if everybody in the town just did what they wanted to do, pretty soon we wouldn't have what most of us liked when we looked at the town.
Mm-hmm.
It's fragile.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that that our new resident here didn't seem to understand how the ordinances had to fit together. But it's because there's been too many people that have violated good common sense and nobody called them into accountability. We're not heavy-handed, but we do have people on this commission who understand how to keep it healthy for the next generation. I'm glad that Daniel Blanchett's here because he's going to be able to design a few things that, you know, it's a once and done thing. You're moving in, you're getting it right, and once it's right, I see that bucket with the hose. You understand the watershed. You just didn't understand the regulations in Thompson. You knew that there was water there for your farming purposes, so and it's good. I'm glad. But the point is that every little thing that we do in those sensitive areas has a far-reaching impact. And yes, you're not the first one. 100 years ago, there was a farm there. There was something else going on along that area. So it's not what it was when Christopher Columbus stumbled into the Caribbean. But we're trying to keep it as healthy as we can for as long as we can.
Thank you. Yes.
Yep.
And it's fortunate that the intervention has taken place at a point where the impacts are what they are, relatively minimal, and can help to put things on a proper footing.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Hien. Very nice to meet you. Thank you, Daniel. Don't go.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next month.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, the next item on the agenda is SUBD 26001. This is Mount Fork Construction, 437 Quaddock Road, map 145, block 14, lot 5, this is the 4-lot subdivision on a previously developed lot. I need to shift over to a different set of Zoom docs here, which is always fun to do. This can close out. Okay. Let's see if that's, I want this. Let me go back to Christopher. Share. There. Okay. All right. Is there someone here representing this project who would like to help us to understand what is being envisioned? Is there someone from August Civil Design with us this evening?
Yes. Hi.
Welcome.
I'm not sure. Can you hear me?
I can. Is this Terry?
Yes, this is Terry.
How do I pronounce your last name?
Gentis.
Gentis. Well, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Let me see if I get the video there. So I'm Mr. Malford's engineer. This is a small subdivision on Quadic Road. It's about 4 acres. There's an existing house and barn. It's predominantly cleared. It was historically used as a cornfield, different, grazed in the past, and we're proposing 3 new lots on the property. There's no wetlands on the property itself, and we have our NDDH approvals for the septic systems. And I guess if there's questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay. Well, thank you. I guess I'll start off. It's a complicated plan, so I just would like commissioners to note the upland review area is like a dot dash line. Am I right about that? It's so the upland review area is right here.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the upland review area, and then it continues along here. Is there a limit of disturbance on
It
this
is.
plan?
Yes, it's the hay bale. If you follow,
Yeah.
Perhaps on, let's see, I'm not sure how clear it came out in this one, but the hay bales are following. If you look at the back well, I'm pointing to things, but I realize you're not seeing my.
Yeah, I'm not. So.
Yeah, so the hay bales following the well in the back there. You're right there. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. All
Okay,
right.
so there's our limit.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So these are, and as I think as Commissioner Obert anticipated this, this is a sensitive area. I mean, these are here, these are not just any old wetlands, these are significant wetlands. And so the URA, the upland review area, is 200 feet in this case rather than 100 feet. And there are habitat concerns, understandably. This is a case where, including spotted turtles, where there is NDDB mapping for endangered and threatened species. I myself, I had a question. So I applaud the bioretention rain garden, which I believe is right here. And then is this the dry swale that
Yes. Yes.
along? Okay, good. The contours on this site appear to be relatively gentle. I was wondering about mitigation, right? I mean, are there plans for revegetation along that I'm going to shrink this a little bit, the western periphery? So here it's surrounded by these sensitive wetlands, right? So so here's your bioretention, and in your view, that's sufficient to absorb that runoff that might otherwise run off into those wetlands.
Yeah, I think if you go to the next sheet, the erosion control plan, that might show the limit of disturbance better as well.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and then you probably have to zoom in a little bit there, but that kind of shows our limit in the back there. So we're really, not proposing to go too far. We're probably, I think, 100 feet
Right.
off the back property lines there. So,
Okay.
or at least off the back wetland. And I think things are already starting to revegetate on their own, and that's probably our proposal is what we're not disturbing will revegetate naturally. The bioretention garden, I will present a planting plan. That's one thing I talked about with Margaret, and I will make sure I bring a planting plan to you in the next meeting for that area. And then we have a couple QPA proposed for the roof areas, qualified pervious areas, and so those areas will either be allowed to revegetate in a natural manner, or we'll be planting them with a low maintenance type of vegetation. So the roof runoff will just be directed into that area and it'll percolate slowly. Right. So that's kind of our revegetation plan. The areas we're not proposing really any clearing that isn't already cleared. So that's it's a field now. We're really not proposing any major clearing. Like you said, and I had said in my report, the grading of the driveway is going to follow the natural grades of what is out there. And there's not a lot of earthwork proposed, really.
Thank you. About the driveway. So this is a shared driveway for 4 lots. And my understanding is that in Thompson, you get 3.
Yeah, so it was an existing circular driveway. Mm-hmm. And, from an engineering standpoint, to me, it makes sense just to connect that 4th one to the shared driveway so everybody's coming out to one access point. But I had talked to the zoning commissioner.
Right, that's their business.
Yeah, about that. So we're going to leave. There was 2 access points to begin with, and there'll be 2 in the future. So that existing lot will maintain the driveway, the northernmost driveway, kind of coming out in the area where the R is on Quadic Road. Right, so we'll keep that driveway, and the other 3, I'll disconnect. The first lot will be disconnected.
Okay, that's the
shared driveway.
Okay, right. Okay, yes, I was going to congratulate you on your narrative. It was very thorough and very professional, but a list of plants would be great.
Okay.
Some of us care about that. I will also note for the record, I will be Margaret Washburn's avatar. I know, and you've been in communication with her. In addition to the shared driveway issue, she and we would like to see a planting plan for the bioremediation area. And I know that an in-depth NDDB review of the specific activities associated with this project has been applied for. And so we look forward to receiving that and other revisions. At which point we may want to schedule a site walk. But we'll hear what other commissioners think. Commissioner Obert.
Yes, a while ago I misread the drawing, but wasn't that other project also at Quadic Road and Hill Road?
It was at 120 Quadic Town Farm Road.
Oh, Town Farm Road. Oh, okay. That's. Yeah, well, you mentioned it. This raises the question of the density of the population and the stress on the watershed. It is not specifically within the 100-foot or 200-foot, in this case, upland review area. There are sensitive wetlands there, but the Wyndham Land Trust doesn't own all of that. So I don't know adjacent where the neighborhood lines are. The sidewalk, yes. I also thought that the reasoning for only 3 driveways off of a shared three houses off a shared driveway was for public safety. And so, we can't really address that, but it seems like I would make triple sure before I take a, oh yeah, breezy remark. I'd put it in writing and make sure that zoning understands that they're giving you permission to violate another ordinance. But
To bend, yes.
You would like to see the four on one driveway rather than
well, there's been a long time ordinance in this town for public safety purposes that said that there was a limit on number of houses that can be off of a shared driveway. It doesn't reflect or impact me directly. It's just something that I've known is there.
yeah.
What does kind of twig me is that the density of population. Yes, the zoning allowed it, and yes, I mentioned a few minutes ago that at the time the consensus was that the smaller lots would be developed where there's municipal sewer. I thought that was in the ordinance, but I'm on record as saying I reviewed them in draft form. I didn't review them at the end. Zoning is something I wanted to make sure that they thought about wetlands and that they thought about those issues, but
Yeah.
I wasn't on the committee that actually did the final stuff.
And these are acre lots, and in a large part of the country, that's a large,
Well, yeah, in a large part of the
property.
country, and a large part of the country, the resident population is impacted by a much more robust resident population around it. This area, this quiet corner, this black hole is behind the times in some ways, and it's going to get swallowed up. But we'd like to keep it as it is for as long as we can, and there are important wetlands and aquifers in this town, and so we're doing what we can to keep them that way. A 5 Mile River, yeah, somebody put some game fish in there at that lower pond. It's too bad. I think the state did, but it's a pretty area. It won't, it's owned by the land trust, I think, or the property all around it is owned by the land trust. Anybody that builds a house thinks they're going to put
that are operating through Charlie Obert to prolong discussions.
There. Thank you. Somebody needs to mute themselves. Our other commissioners would have comments or questions. If not, then Ms. Gentes, you've been in communication with Ms. Washburn, and you understand what more we would like to see, so we can help to move forward with this.
Yeah, we're waiting our state approval on the NDDB, and
Right.
And I'll work on getting you a planting plan, and I think that is there anything else?
I believe, Margaret, unless you have something else you'd like to add, I think the close-up NDDB review would be important. I know in the past with some projects like this, with spotted turtles, for example, there are times of the year when it's better than other times of the year to be doing some of this work, to avoid mortality, for example. Which is a serious concern with the turtles. So we'll wait to see what they come in with, and then we may have some recommendations as to the sequence of construction. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I think it's such a small. It's less than 500 feet of driveway, and so I think it's something that can be done, in a matter of days as well too.
If we can limit that activity, which it seems you've done. It's very good. All right, thank you. If there are no other questions or concerns, and we'll come back to this at our next meeting. The next item on the agenda is permit or applications received after the agenda was posted. None. Permit extensions, changes, none. Which brings us to, always our favorite part of the show is active violations and pending enforcement actions. And so here again, I'm going to skip to a different set of Zoom documents. If I can find them, I'm going to stop sharing here. Okay, and I'm going to close these out, and I'm going to open these. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this and see if this is right. Okay, I believe this is. Certainly looks like a violation to me. Okay, the first of which is VOL 25045, Providence and Worcester Railroad bed between Linehouse Road and LaPorte Road. No map block lot number. Show cause hearing for excavating and depositing material in wetlands, watercourses, upland review area without a permit. My understanding, unless there are representatives of the railroad with us tonight to either confirm or deny what I'm about to say, is that we're still waiting for a corrective action plan that includes wetlands delineations and a survey to establish property boundaries. Such delineations and survey to be made by individuals who are licensed and are qualified to practice in the state of Connecticut. Until that time, we really have no choice but to continue the show cause hearing. Um, is that's correct, Margaret, is it not? Unless there's a representative from the railroad? So
Yes.
we'll just carry on with this one as we await the corrective action plan and survey that we need to approve it. The next item on the agenda is VIL 25044, Carlos Ferreira, 1036 Thompson Road, map 118, block 29, lot 17C and 0, Thompson Road, map 118, block 29, lot 17A. Show cause hearing for wetlands excavated without a permit and for material deposited in wetlands without a permit. Here I'm going to catch up with my documents. Okay, there we go. A revised order was issued on December 1st, requiring a corrective action plan by February 2nd for review at our February 10th meeting. That is, if soil conditions permit, the work that needs to be done to put that corrective action plan together. I don't know if Daniel Blanchette has left the building, as it were. I think he has been engaged as the engineer on this project, but pending receipt of that corrective action plan, the show cause hearing will be continued.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'm here.
Oh, you're still here. Great, wonderful. Sorry, I
Thank
don't
you.
know.
Yeah, for the record, I have been officially retained by the applicant. We're
Yeah.
waiting on the soil scientist to delineate the wetlands. I do anticipate submitting an application in the near future. At this time, I would ask the commission just to kind of continue this.
Wonderful. Yes, we're willing to do that. Thank you. And then
Thank you.
hopeful that we can clean this up. So and
Absolutely.
I'm sure you will be helpful when it comes to getting that done. Appreciate that and your expertise. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is VIL 25064, Quintessent Country Club, 241 County Home Road, map 109, block 34, lot 2. Notice of violation and prescription of necessary action issued for material deposited in wetlands near an intermittent watercourse without a permit. This is formerly complaint number 25017. And here again, I will catch up. Oh, I'm right there, aren't I? There we go. So a prescription of necessary action was issued on December 3rd, requiring a corrective action plan by January 5th. The violators have requested an extension until February. And until then, the show cause hearing will be, there is no show cause hearing in this case, so we will await that corrective action plan. There's no one else present tonight who can speak to this. Is that right? I didn't think so. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to make some progress with this one too and get it get it cleared up. The next item on the agenda is VOL 25065, Hien Huin, 192 Sunset Hill Road, map 103, block 40, lot 3F. Show cause hearing for wetlands excavated without a permit, for material deposited in wetlands without a permit, and construction of a shed within 1 foot of wetlands without a permit. As we've discussed, we are waiting for a revised application that would include a detailed corrective action plan. And until we receive that, the show cause hearing is continued.
Correct. Thank you.
Mr. Hien, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, just that I'm working with Daniel.
Right.
Daniel is helping me with that. So we will have the corrective action by the next meeting that we have. Yep.
Very good. Very good. And thank you for your cooperative spirit. It's
for sure. I love the land. I own it, and I want it to be.
We can tell that.
Right. Yeah.
We can
Thank
tell.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Next
very much.
item on the agenda is VOL 25067. This is Thomas Wood, 62 Quadic Town Farm Road, map 154, block 7, lot 9. This is a show cause hearing for construction of a 32-foot by 40-foot barn and associated grading in the 100-foot upland review area to wetlands without a permit. So I'm going to catch up here. And Mr. Wood, I believe, in fact, I saw you here. And if you're still here, you're welcome to speak at this point.
Yeah, I'm still here, everyone.
Thank you.
I do want to mention that it was an error on my part. I listened to a couple of people stating that I actually didn't need a permit to put up a pole barn due to the fact that it didn't have any footings or foundations or anything like that. Once I found out I did need the permit, I notified the town and applied for all the particulars that I needed, and also NDDH already approved the submittal for the application that I sent to them. Then Mrs. Washburn came down to view the area and to view where the barn was put and everything else. And we found that it was probably just a little bit short of the 100-foot proximity of the wetlands. I also want to reiterate what I had told Mrs. Washburn, that there was no fill brought in, no nothing. It was actually, the barn was put in a spot where there was actually a 30 by 30 concrete pad that was overgrown by brush and shrubs and everything else that I wound up taking down because my whole lot, since we moved in 3 years ago, we've been cleaning it up due to the fact that somebody over the years used it as an organic dumping ground. I've removed tremendous amounts of brush, trees, stumps and everything. And I'm actually still in the process of cleaning it all up due to the fact that what we want to do is we actually want to plant, we've got 25 apple trees and fruit trees planted right now. And I would like to try to plant another 50 more to try to utilize the land and give back to the land. So that way it regenerates everything and nothing. With what we have, we bought the property and we want to make it nice. We don't want a crap hole. Like most places, like some people move in and start dumping stuff everywhere. We're trying to clean up whatever was done over the years. It's a little overwhelming at times, but we're slowly getting to it. And I'm actually kind of happy that Mr. Blanchett didn't leave because I'm actually in process of trying to employ his services for any help we need just to get through this. The biggest reason why I was building the barn and I jumped to it too quick was due to the fact that we actually might be inheriting a couple of elderly horses that won't be able to be taken care of by my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. So we're trying to get back to a lot of the stuff. We actually have a lot of, which was actually pretty cool, is that we had a few snapping turtles that come up onto the property. They lay their eggs and then they take off. And what we were doing was we were actually putting fences around the eggs where they laid them so nothing would come and eat them, like foxes, coyotes and stuff like that, because we've seen that happen all too many times. But my biggest thing is we're just trying to clean up the property, get everything cleaned up, and also abide by any of the rules and regulations that I need to in order to get the barn completed. There's going to be no electricity, no water. There's only going to be 3 sides of the barn are going to be sided. The back side's going to be wide open so we can have the horses in there. And just try to get everything cleaned up as much as possible, because we're trying to create a little haven for ourselves in the little bit of acreage that we got.
Thank you. Thank you. That context is very helpful to us.
Yep.
So what we're looking at here on the screen is the order that was issued on January 6th. And have you retained J&D Engineering, or are you in? Daniel, please speak to that.
Hi, Daniel Blanchett. Again, I apologize. I've been playing phone tag with Tom. Our intent is to submit an application for the February meeting.
Right, wonderful. So
Yep.
so you know the drill.
Yes, sir.
And as the order makes clear, what we need is a site plan that includes wetland delineations and boundaries and proposed grading and erosion sediment controls, any corrective action that might be required in this situation. If work has been done that needs to be undone, in the view of the commission. And I believe according to the order, the deadline for receipt of that is March 24th. So there's time. And we look forward to receiving that so that we can approve this project after the fact and allow Mr. Wood to get on with the reclamation of his land.
Just so everybody knows, when the fruit trees stop producing fruit, everybody's welcome to come on up because we're going to be giving 50% of it away to the public.
Thank you. You have to be careful about making offers to that like that.
Oh no, that's fine. We're trying to get in. We're trying to do another at least 50 to 60 trees. We have plums, we have peaches, we have pears, and we have 3 different types of apples. Right. And we're trying to propagate that a lot more. So there's a lot of trees producing a lot of fruit.
Well, as one orchardist to another, although I have nothing on your scale, your proposed scale, I wish you luck with that.
Thank you. My wife actually, her family owned pretty much all of Apple Valley in Rhode Island. They used to grow a lot of apples and everything else. And her original homestead in Forster, Rhode Island, there's actually 3 of the trees that remained of the apple trees. And a gentleman by the last name of Jutra bought the place, and he actually showed myself and my wife how to graft peaches and pears to an apple tree. So he's got 3 different apples on one apple tree, and he's got peaches and pears growing on another apple tree.
Right. It's wonderful propagation.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman,
yes,
to be clear, I heard you say something about March. This is a situation where there's no problem with the planting of the orchards. The problem is that he built a barn without having the wetlands identified.
That's right.
And he has to wait until March to finish the barn, or what?
Well, he has until March to submit the plan. We don't have a site plan for the barn, right? Or any of the work that's being done on the property. So he's been given until March 24th to submit the plan. He could submit the plan sooner than that.
Okay. Yeah, I can see on the photograph on this one page here that it doesn't look like he had to do any grading around the barn.
Well, we need a site plan to.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay.
Well on its way.
Another one of those cases where work got done without crossing our I's and dotting our T's.
We're getting to that. We're getting to that soon.
Sorry, that was an error on my part. I do apologize. And definitely no grading was needed. The only thing that was done, if you see the debris, like the rocks and everything else, that's because I dug the holes with an auger and backfilling and stuff like that with the poles. It just leaves debris around.
Sure. Well, thank you, Mr. Wood, for being here, and thank you, Daniel, for being here
No, thank you guys, and thank you,
and helping us
Daniel.
on, which I'm sure we will.
Yeah, and if you look in that picture, you can see my cat in there too, down bottom.
Yeah. Oh, I see it's right there. Very good. All right. The last item on our violations list is VIOL 25071, Justice Resource Institute, 75 Church Street, map 67, block 102, lot 9G, show cause hearing for construction of a barn and associated grading in the 100-foot upland view area to wetlands without a permit. And Daniel, you should just stay on the screen, I think. It's okay, you're getting overtime for this. So here again, the good thing that's happened is that your firm has been engaged. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so perhaps you could say a little bit about how this came to light and what we are looking at here. This plan wasn't particularly helpful, but um, anything you can say to help us understand what's going on would be appreciated.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, for the record, Daniel Blanchette, civil engineer, land surveyor. I have been in contact with the Justice Resource Institute about submitting an after the fact application for a barn that was constructed within the upland review area. Again, I don't have a site plan prepared this evening. I should be able to submit an application for the February meeting. I don't have a lot of information tonight, unfortunately, but we're working on it.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So again, you know the drill. We need the wetlands delineations and proposed grading and corrective action and all the rest of that.
Yes, sir.
And I believe that was the same. What was the deadline here? Was also March 24th. Is that right? Yes. Good. Okay, thank you. So meanwhile, this show cause hearing will be continued, and I neglected to state for the record that in the case of VIL 25067, the violation we just discussed at 62 Aquatic Town Farm Road, that show cause hearing is also continued. It's carried over. Okay, thank you all very much. That brings us to other business, including the members, where am I? 97.
I do apologize, everybody. I'm going to sign off.
Oh, please, Mr. Wood. Yes, feel free to go.
Time for dinner.
This is yes, for all of us. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Bon appetit. Yeah, this is housekeeping now for us.
Okay.
Members' review of IWC bylaws. Do any commission members wish to propose revisions to the bylaws at this, our annual business meeting? I will take that as a no.
I'm
Mr.
comment or question here. I know we've been talking about the feasibility of adjusting the application fee when it is a corrective action plan rather than a properly thought out and
Right.
systematic.
That's coming next.
Okay, so that doesn't come into the bylaws?
No, that doesn't come in.
I knew we had to discuss it more.
No, when we're gearing up to that.
Good, thank you.
So we'll leave the bylaws as they are. The election of officers. The officers are the chair, the vice chair, and the treasurer. And I am currently the chair, for better or for worse. Commissioner Obert is the vice chair, and Commissioner Langer is the treasurer. I would entertain motions or nominations from the floor. Failing that, I would entertain a motion to re-elect the current slate of officers.
I'm going to move that we re-elect the existing officers for one more term. I know we've got some new members, but
I second that.
Okay, Commissioner Mooney, thank you for seconding that. If there's no further discussion, I'm not going to do a roll call vote for this. I don't think we need to. Commissioner Ober, yes.
Aye.
Oh, okay. Then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any abstentions? I suppose we could abstain from voting for ourselves, but then we'd have quorum issues. In that case, the current slate of officers is reelected for another year. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the fee schedule revisions for after-the-fact permit applications and inspections. I'm going to, these are, there's material posted in the Zoom docs. I'm going to paraphrase this document in case commissioners or others attending the meeting have not had an occasion to read through it. It is standard practice statewide for towns to include a surcharge for after-the-fact permit applications in their fee schedules. The rationale for the surcharge is clear and consistent across municipalities. Additional costs are incurred when regulated activities are performed without a permit, including enforcement actions, the issuing of cease and desist orders and orders to correct, the processing and review of corrective action plans, and last but not least, as we know, multiple inspections and commission reviews, which would not have been necessary if an application had been filed and the proper permit issued in advance. The bulk of the towns surveyed have established a fee for after-the-fact permits equivalent to 3 times the amount that would have been due had the application not been after the fact. One town imposes a fee equivalent to 4 times the original application fee, with an additional surcharge based on the total area of disturbance. Others impose a base after-the-fact fee that is greater than the standard fee, with additional surcharges based on the number of regulated activities that occurred or administrative hours required to oversee the correction. Our wetlands enforcement officer and I agree that the first of these models, we'll call it the triple the fee model, is the most reasonable, the simplest, and the most applicable to our situation. Currently, as you know, there is no deterrent within our fee schedule or our regulations at all to counter the performance of regulated activities without a permit, other than the issuing of cease and desist orders. Those activities are not only costly to the town, they are also involved increased costs for property owners when corrective actions are called for. And those are costs that would have been avoided if an application had been submitted before the work was done. They're also costly for the environment, right? When a permit application is properly submitted, it can be reviewed by the commission to ensure that wetlands, watercourses, and sensitive upland areas are not adversely impacted. Work done without a review often results in environmental damage that's something it can be irreversible or can only be undone with considerable effort and expense. So in sum, it's in the best interest of the town and all its citizens that appropriate permits are applied for and issued prior to any regulated activities being performed. I think that only makes sense. I will add, and this has come up, that we all know that in isolated cases, property owners might, in good faith, perform activities in justifiable ignorance of the need to apply for a permit. In such cases, the property owner would be able to petition the commission for a waiver of the after-the-fact fee pursuant to our regulations. I mean, those petitions would state the facts and circumstances the commission should consider in determining whether the activity was performed in justifiable ignorance, assessing the extent of the impact and the additional costs incurred by the failure to secure a permit, and deciding whether the standard before the fact fee would be sufficient in that particular case. I'll note that I didn't go through the survey of towns, but Montville has such a provision. The fee for applicants who commence the regulated activities without a permit shall be 200% of the fees, except the state fee, unless the commission by a majority vote agrees to reduce the fee to the standard fee. There may be cases when, in the commission's view, that would be the appropriate course to follow. Yes, Commissioner Obert.
Yes, that sounds to me like before the fee would be paid. So we would have the authority to reduce the fee or to waive the fee. And that I think has to be reflected in the form. But I agree. We need to take action and put this in the correct spot. If we need a town meeting in order to do it, then we should make it one of our priorities.
You do not need a town meeting in order to do it.
Okay. We've talked about this. We've gotta be 40% minimum of our time is with people who did that little thing and it caused a big problem.
Right. It is, as you pointed out, a consistent pattern. All of these cases are going to involve violations because work was conducted without a permit. And so they are going to involve situations such as we've seen this evening, where um, where activities that were performed without the permit and that are in violation may need to be corrected, where corrective action is necessary, which would have been avoided if things had been done in the right order, and where an after the fact permit is also required to approve the work that's already been done, if that is something that the commission agrees to. As for the provision for petitioning for a waiver is already in the regulations. It doesn't need to be added. And one of the conditions under which a waiver, and that would be in this case to walk the fee back to the standard fee, if in the commission's view that was justified in a particular case, that those additional costs didn't, whatever costs were incurred, did not justify the surcharge. So what before I'm going to entertain a motion to adopt this proposal that you see before you and make this change to our fee schedule, which is an appendix now, as you know, to the regulations, and which would not require a public hearing for approval. We've done this before. But I did want to open the floor for any questions and discussion. Yes, Commissioner Ober.
Yes. My recollection is that we were both fair to the applicant and fair to the town when we talked about restructuring our fees. Is there anything else that we overlooked? I think that this is a correct action for us. I can't think of any other loose ends that we would be leaving. But and it's pretty easy to correct it, but it also, to my thinking, is better if we can correct them all at once and then it's done.
Commissioner Mooney, did you raise your hand? Or you were just, okay. Well, I'm going to applaud our wetlands enforcement officer for doing the research. And it was impressive, the geographical distribution of these other towns, almost all of which do it this way. And for good reason. If anything, I think we've borrowed some language from them, but I think if anything, our language is more careful. And does reference the waiver provision in the regulations. So I will show you, I'm going to, what the change to the, I'm going to close this one out. I can leave that one there, I think.
This is Margaret. If you could please excuse me for interrupting, could I please ask for a 5-minute recess?
Oh, I think we could do that. Sure.
Thank
Well,
you.
I juggle screens. Sure. So why don't we'll have a brief recess and reconvene at 8:10 p.m.
Chairman Dustin,
Yes.
would it be inappropriate to ask? I lost the internet connection. And I was just wondering if it would be inappropriate to ask for a summary or of what was discussed?
It's starting at what point?
Okay, let me just pull that up. Commissioner Obert was talking.
Oh,
And
just recently.
yes, I got everything before that.
Okay.
He said something like, it sounds to me like before the fee would be paid, we would have the authority to reduce the fee or to waive the fee.
Yeah, I was trying to make it clear in my mind. I read the other municipalities. I didn't remember reading what Chris and Margaret worked up, but it did seem to me, and I believe it was correct, that um, we do have flexibility when it comes to issuing an application and charging an application fee for work that had already been done and needs corrective action.
And I pointed out, Valerie, that provision is already made within the regulations under, it's a section entitled waivers.
Thank you.
And in fact, it's section A, it's under Appendix A5 is waiver.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Margaret. I'm back.
Hi, Margaret. Welcome back. But we've lost Commissioner Obert. He's not in his den.
I think Commissioner Morano has been with us for some time.
Oh, all right. I don't see a complete list.
I think the
Margaret.
letter F is for Fran.
Ah, okay.
Margaret, I didn't see her join the meeting. What time did she come on?
Hang on a minute. I don't know if I have the exact time, but I made a note that she came in, uh,
It was around 6:50.
There you go.
back when we were discussing the Sunset Hill project is when I wrote down her name.
Thank you.
So can Commissioner Morano vote on this item? I
I
don't
don't think
see,
so.
you don't, who said I don't think so?
Commissioner Morano, I was
Oh.
chastised another time when I came in late and tried to vote.
Well, see, I don't see why not. Different
Well,
administration.
I think it's because Charlie's gone that it makes a difference.
Well, yeah, we need Charlie back.
But I mean, if Fran's here, we still have a quorum.
Right.
Fran just came in late because of, and then Greg got seated. I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. Mooney got seated, which was the right thing to do. But now she's here and Charlie's gone. I don't.
I'm back.
Oh, he's back.
Oh,
I had to put wood in the fire.
All right. And Mr. Mooney would have been seated in any case because Commissioner Langer was not here.
right.
Okay, we're reconvening at 8:12 p.m. So for your benefit, what we would be voting on now is this fee schedule draft revision. And what you are seeing is the fee schedule as it currently stands. And what is going to be added to it is what you see here is number 10, after the fact permit. Applications for permit filed after the regulated activities have been commenced to offset the additional cost of the town in inspecting and monitoring the regulated activities. And then the fee is 3 times the amount of fees that would have been due if the application was timely filed. This surcharge is in addition to any other fines or penalties that may be assessed, which we're currently unable to do. So I will, at this point, entertain a motion that the Thompson Inland Wetlands Commission adopt as a revision to its current fee schedule, Thompson IWW Regulations Appendix A, the following under permit applications. After the fact permit application filed after the regulated activities have been commenced to offset the additional costs of the town in reviewing and monitoring the regulated activities. The fee being 3 times the amount of fees that would have been due if the application was timely filed. This surcharge is in addition to any other fines or penalties that may be assessed. Do I have a motion to that effect?
Commissioner Corso, motion to that effect.
Thank you, Commissioner Corso. Do I have a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Commissioner Obert.
The discussion, that point that you just read, that said it's 3 times the amount.
Right.
Should it say it is up to 3 times the amount? Didn't we say that if somebody made a honest mistake and they've been pretty careful for a long time, they don't let's get it fixed up? Or
Right.
is it all or nothing?
I think no, it's not all or nothing, but I don't think we should say up to. I think as other towns do, we should fix the after the fact fee. The regulations, and it's shortly after this in the regulations, which I don't have up here. It's included in the appendix, the opportunity for applicants to petition the commission for a waiver. And what they would do is petition for a waiver of the after the fact fee. And what they would leave in place would be the standard fee.
Good. It sounds like you guys thought it all out. Good.
We've used up a lot of airtime on this one.
In the long run, I think it was the right choice. I'm glad that we did it.
I will say, Charlie, that other towns kind of prorate it. There's one town that does it according to the number of extra hours that the commission and or the enforcement officer have to put in. Others do it according to the extent, the area of that is impacted. But neither of those, both of those seemed fraught to Margaret and me, how you would calculate those.
Mm.
And if, for example, if a violator were to be charged $100 an hour for any inspections, currently property owners can refuse an inspection. They can refuse to allow us on their property. And we don't want to create a disincentive to do that.
Correct. Well, I vote yes because I think it covers all of the important issues that were overlooked and allows us some opportunity to recoup the extra costs.
Thank you. Commissioner Corso.
I'm in favor. The work here seems to be very well researched, in line with what similar towns and other areas are doing, and is something that I believe will support our continued effort to do the right thing and take corrective action when necessary.
Thank you. Commissioner Mooney.
Yes, I support this. In fact, I think it's important. For the short time I've been involved, it seems like this is a regular occurrence. I don't know. I think in some cases folks make honest mistakes, but unfortunately, I think and more often than not, they're trying to skirt some of the things we're trying to do here. So I'm in support of it. I think it's the right thing to do. I think I've seen personally in a short time here a lot of time spent by you folks, even what started with me. Me not knowing the situation and having you folks come out here. And so I think it's a good thing for us. And so I am in support.
Commissioner Dustin, I will say that I believe this is an important step forward for the commission and the town. And it's important not just to recoup costs to the town, but I will reiterate that there are costs to applicants as well, who, if they had done things in the proper order, would have saved themselves a lot of trouble and corrective actions and hiring engineers to prepare corrective action plans and so on and so forth. And it's also important for the environment. If we have a chance to weigh in on what people want to do, we can help them to do it in a better way for all concerned. And
I have, I would like it to go on the record, I guess, to say that what my fellow commissioner just said about the amount of time is correct, but most of the applications come in a timely manner.
Mhm.
Most of them go through. Probably 80% of them are nice and smooth and no problem. The ounce of prevention and the pound of cure shows itself by not being a problem.
Right.
But those 20% that do it wrong can wind up becoming very costly. And if only they knew, if only they thought, if only they realized what they want in their backyard is going to be healthier if they do it right.
Exactly. And so this is a revision that we will be sure to publicize.
Most people are doing it right, but the other ones are costing us so much, we have to be able to go after some of it.
Indeed. Thank you. Well, it seems to me, Commissioner Morano, you're free to make any comments you like, even if you've decided you shouldn't be casting.
I'll just comment. I've seen a growing number of people who talk to us at meetings about coming to town and or wanting to do a project, and they talk to the building inspector's office or to the zoning. What I don't understand is why those people aren't being steered in our direction. And I say this full knowing that when I came into town, I was faced with similar questions, and I received take all these steps where I proceeded. So I don't know if there's some miscommunication or lack of communication, but perhaps we could work on that.
We are working on that.
This is Margaret, and I'd like to add to what Fran said that some of what people report being said that they were never directed to talk to anybody in the Wetlands Commission should be taken with a grain of salt, because even when Donna used to work here, she would explain to everybody that it's a four-step process and that the health department needed to be involved before wetlands, then zoning, and then building. And so I know it's frustrating when people tell me all the time. I called the town hall, and town hall said, I don't need any wetlands. I don't need this. I don't need that. And I really do believe that anyone who contacts the building office is informed that it's a four-step process for what that's worth.
It's a forensic process. When somebody says the commissioner told me that, or the enforcement officer said this, give me the report. A verbal report is not worth the paper it's printed on. We need to be able to take something like what we see on the screen that we can show to the town attorney, that we can show to the legal people, that we can show why we're doing what we're doing.
Indeed.
Too many people say it was okay, and those are the ones that go running off with their own set of rules.
Yeah.
Well,
This is Margaret, and there are people who call Donna and they find out what the process is, and then they ignore the process and do their projects anyway, and then after they get caught, they say they didn't know, but they did call and did find out what they needed to do and ignored it. So it's a they changed their story over time.
Maybe
right.
that's the missing element. I asked the question a few minutes ago, is there anything else that we're missing? If there was a clear linkage between one department and the next on the paperwork, like the form that you're looking at on your screen, or electronically, or however, that says it's a four-step process.
Well, historically, there was. Historically, things came to wetlands first and had 3 copies of each plan and an application, everything. And once wetlands gave its stamp of approval, they could move on to zoning in the building office. And that seems to have gone by the wayside.
Evidently it has. You'll recall we talked about it when Marla was leaving, that corporate body of knowledge, the things that people knew how to do when a person changes, when an administrator moves on and the next person comes in, they do it their own way. And it's creating a problem. And we can be a little bit smarter than the problem.
Well, this is Margaret again, and right now we're using Permit Link for all permits in the town, and wetlands is going to start any day now. And so all these permits that are being issued through Permit Link, all building permits, all zoning permits, none of them get issued unless I sign off on them. And so that checks and balances has been restored through Permit Link.
That's
Sounds like it.
fabulous.
It sounds like it. I'm wondering though, will we have an advantage to document it so that, I don't know, maybe it's already documented because it's how it has to be done. But we're talking about an issue, we're talking about a change, we're talking about something that was good that used to be done that isn't being done anymore, and we're talking about a change and the value of ensuring that they all are done. Perhaps the application or the software or the program has considered all of that. I haven't looked at it. I know that it can be done, but I
It
haven't
should
looked
help.
at it.
It should help. This is an important and ongoing conversation, and it's one that I very much hope we can make some progress with.
And we're not the only people in the nation that are talking about it. So yeah, it
Right.
makes sense that somebody's fixing it.
But right now, before I forget to do this, because we're 2 hours in, for the record, I have to declare that the fee schedule draft revision dated January 6, 2026 is hereby adopted unanimously.
Yes.
So thank you. That brings us back now to the budget, which, and here I have to do a quick reshare. There we go. Okay. Our treasurer is not with us tonight. I myself did not see any issues with the budget. Margaret, is that right? Everything seems to be in order. Was there a new budget line that we, or some slight increase that we were asking for?
We
You
put
did it
in
for the cell phone.
we put in for $100 each from three different commissions. One is wetlands, one is conservation, and one is the animal control officer. That the three commissions are going to split an Adobe account if that's our wish list. And then we did increase the amount to the cell phone to make that meet what is being taken out every month. But 3% increase in salaries as required, and that was about it.
Good. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Keeping watch. Wetlands agent report.
Chairman Dustin,
Yes.
I believe we skipped the reports from the citizens.
Oh, we did. We did do that. Yes, in my rush. Thank you very much for catching me on that. So this is a slightly revised agenda. I'm going to back up and invite further citizen comments. Certainly nothing against citizens. We appreciate their being here. I'm not hearing any comments, but I certainly want to give that opportunity. Okay, that will bring us back up to the wetlands agent report, which I believe we've covered in some detail. Correspondence, signing of Mylars. I've had the pleasure of signing two Mylars. The first subdivision 25059, Craig Shea and Aaron Healy, 0 Redbridge Road, map 42, block 99, lot 7A, a two-lot subdivision with no wetlands nearby. And subdivision 25060, Gary Rawson, 0 Aquatic Town Farm Road, map 162, block 111, lot 12G, a three-lot subdivision with shared driveway and intermittent stream crossing. Comments by commissioners before we adjourn? No comments? Well, the comment I'll offer is I want to thank you all, as always, for your hard work. I do believe that we accomplished something meaningful and important this evening with our adjustment to the fee schedule, and hope that that will alleviate a problem that we have that has been growing to everyone's benefit, not just in terms of saving us time, but making things more efficient for the general public, so that they can get their
I
proposals.
have a question.
Yes,
Now,
Commissioner.
I think we've taken the right move, and I wonder how we go about informing the general public. I know that sometimes members of the town offices go down and talk on the morning radio show.
Uh-huh.
I got to tell you, I don't normally tune in that radio station. But perhaps an opportunity to talk about how we are trying to preserve as much as we can for as long as we can, and doing it on not even a shoestring budget, doing it on a thread.
Right.
And
And time.
so I think that the rest of the commission certainly are moving. We're moving in the right direction, and often on a different committee that I work on with economic development, we talk about the fact that we do things right, but we don't tell people about it.
Uh-huh.
So maybe it's Thompson Together, maybe it's the town's website, and there is somebody who's working with EDC to develop content for stories online.
Mm-hmm.
We did something right. I think that that's the kind of thing that that we ought to tell people about.
Yeah, I agree that we can promote this revision in a positive and not just a punitive way.
Yeah, I mean, we're not out here to hit people with a stick. We're out here to try to keep it green.
Exactly.
I
This
am.
is Margaret, and I could just add that there will be a legal notice that will state that decision.
Well, that's good, but that's just a bang, flash words. Um, as I said, we did something right, and I think it behooves us, it behooves the town to point out that we're volunteers, but we care and we're doing things right.
Right. That's good.
Okay.
Well,
Good night, everybody.
on that feel-good note, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Obert is made,
Yes.
seconded.
Commissioner
Second.
Mooney will second it.
Commissioner Mooney, thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
No one
Bye.
opposed. Thank you all for a good meeting, and we'll see you next month.
Thank
Okay.
you. Good night.